What is up, YouTube? Silver Shepherd here, and in today's video I will be giving away 5 gold stacking tips. Now don't forget to subscribe to enter the silver giveaway once we have 1,000 subscribers, and stay tuned. Now first, why should we stack gold? Now there are quite a few reasons, some of the most prominent being wealth preservation and hedging against inflation. Now you want to do this because it keeps your money safe out of the dying fiat currency. Whenever the US dollar goes down in value, gold and silver, they both go up. So, if the dollar ever becomes worthless, gold and silver will not. They will stay valuable and, very precious commodities. Also, liquidity. You can always sell these for, right now, $3,200 or whatever. You can get cash if you ever need in an emergency, and it just keeps you safe in uneasy economic environments like recently with the tariffs and everything and the market going down. Gold and silver have been going up. They've been performing very well. They've returned higher percentages over the last year or two. So those are very good safe havens. But also, if you want to use the GSR to get some free silver, if right now the GSR is 100 to 1, and so obviously that means it takes 100 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. So let's say you traded 1 ounce of gold for 100 ounces of silver, and then the GSR, or gold to silver ratio, went down to 80 to 1. You trade those 80 ounces for 1 ounce of gold, and so you get your 1 ounce of gold back, and then you still have those extra 20 ounces of silver. So you're basically making, free advancements into your stack, free money, however you want to look at it. And there's a couple different ways that you can invest in gold, those being physical bullion, kind of like how you see up there. I don't have very much gold on screen, that's because it's in other places, and also don't really have that much gold because of how expensive it is. I'm on a bit of a tighter budget, but actually I'm getting a new gold piece in tomorrow, so that'll be fun to review and show you guys. But I've done a lot of research. I've been around, stacking and all that, just growing up with my father. He was always into it. So, I've learned a lot, done a lot of research. So I have a lot of evidence to, back up exactly what I'm saying. But other than physical bullion like you're seeing on screen, we have ETFs, which are basically just good if you don't want to worry about storing physical bullion, don't have space for it or whatever. And then futures contracts, basically betting on the price of it in the future. It's a bit more of a speculative play. I probably would steer clear from that, especially if you're just starting out. But some people, for some reason, do like it, so that's fine. But, stay tuned. We're getting ready to, get into a good stage in the summer where gold is a bit more boring. Price goes down, so now's a great buying opportunity. So I'm ready to give some tips for you. So my first tip would be to focus on weight over design or numismatic. Coins and slabs, or with fancy designs on them, they carry unnecessary premiums that you do not need when you're first starting. You should go with something slightly cheaper like the gold buffalo or maple leaf or, Britannias. Those things are relatively cheap, and relevance to how cheap gold can possibly be, obviously. But something like the American Eagle, that carries a pretty high premium. Or I've seen some gold pieces with like Deadpool or Star Wars or something like that in them. Those will add premium on top of the regular premium. And those aren't good when you're just building, because, you want to do it for as cheap as possible, get as many ounces. And if there's ever a time that you need to go sell your gold, you're not going to be able to make that premium back up, because shops aren't going to be able to, sell it for that, because not many people are exactly looking for, whatever that may be. So you're not going to be able to make that premium back up. You're not going to be able to get it. So I would focus, at least at the very beginning, for your first 10, 20 ounces of gold. Don't worry about fancy premium or slabs or whatever like that. Go with the cheap stuff. Make sure you're, focused on what the premium is, buying on the right times, buying on dips or deals, and dollar cost average your way through, your process through your stack. And yeah, don't focus on design. Worry about building a good stack. Now, the Buffaloes are these, but gold, and they're a bit more fragile because they're pure gold, whereas something like the American Eagle is like 22 karat, I believe, so it's less fragile. My second tip would be to buy recognizable and liquid coins. Now, this kind of helps with, the fancy design coins. Those are very obscure. Sometimes, shops, LCSs might think that they're fake or not pure gold and stuff like that. It might be mixed with tungsten or whatever. They won't want to buy those because they don't want to take the chance of it being fake, especially if they don't have, an analytics tester and stuff like that to verify whether the gold is real or not. They may not want to buy your gold. They might tell you, go somewhere else. Whereas if you buy a Buffalo or American Eagle or Maple Leaf, those are recognizable coins. Those are renowned coins, government-backed, great security features. They will be able to tell in a heartbeat whether those coins are real, fake, what the deal is with them. Let's say if you get a gold Britannia, just like this, has the, feature right there with the pitchfork like you see up there. Same thing with the Maple Leaf, have the leaf with the lines and everything like that. So silver and the gold both have the same exact security features. And you want that to be a main thing when you're just starting out, because you don't want to take a chance of buying a fake coin and wasting, potentially hundreds or thousands of dollars, because you're wasting it. You buy this to protect your wealth, not to, spend it on needless things or whatever. It's a savings account outside of the fiat currency or outside of stocks or whatever like that. So, you want to buy recognizable coins that, will be able to sell quickly, and you want liquidity. Don't buy a kilo bar of silver, because that's right now $100,000. Most LCSs won't be able to just shell out $100,000 like that. So, 5 ounces is probably the max I would go with gold personally, because that's still a lot of money. That's like $15,000-$20,000. So get liquid coins and get very recognizable coins. Tip number 3 is to find deals and avoid fees. So this would be for if you're ordering online on something like SD Bullion or APMEX. Whenever you go to pay, you have the choice of Bitcoin, wire or check, and debit or credit card. Now, debit or credit card is the highest fee that you can pay. It can sometimes cost you 10, 20, 30 extra dollars just to pay with your credit or debit card. Now that adds to the total cost of your entire stack, and we want to keep that as low as possible for as much weight as possible. Bitcoin is the second lowest. It doesn't add as much, but it's still a noticeable amount. Always choose to wire the money because we want it cheap. We want to avoid paying the fees, but also whenever checking out or whatever, make sure you're over what it takes to get the free shipping, because the cost to ship it also goes into the total, and we want to avoid that. So make sure you're avoiding, shipping fees, and find, deals. APMEX, SD Bullion, they both have a deals tab, and on these you can go through and find coins at spot, or $60 off the premium or whatever like that. So you can go in, you can find it cheap and get good deals, and that just lowers overall cost on the stack. And especially at the beginning, whenever you're focusing on just getting your weight up, that's the most important thing. You don't want to spend unnecessary money. Like this gold bar, it was probably worth $70 when I bought it, but I paid $125 for this. And if I wanted to go sell it right now, I'd probably get $95 from it. So as you guys can tell, I overpaid a lot, and it will take a while, and the price will have to go up a lot just for me to even break even. So we want to avoid the fees and avoid the premiums on it. I know I said I had 5 tips, but I actually only have 4 tips for you guys. And so my fourth and final tip is to have a goal to work towards. Now, when I say that, have the goal of filling up a tube of, whatever your favorite coin is, whether that's Buffalo, American Eagle, Maple Leaf, whatever that may be. Have a goal to fill up the tube. And then once you get the tube, be like, hey, I want to get a monster box or something like that, where, you constantly are working towards something. You're wanting to put your money out there and, put it into these coins. You don't want to, get one and then be like, hey, I don't really like this that much, because then, you kind of feel defeated. Whereas if you always are working towards it, you're always working towards, getting the monster box, you always have a reason to keep stacking, keep saving your money, keep investing in these metals that have been used for thousands of years. They're safe havens. They're always going to be here. They're never going to be worth absolutely zero. And, have that goal. You want to put yourself into a situation where if something ever did happen, you're protected. And having these goals of getting a tube or monster box, those will keep you protected in uneasy circumstances where, an SHTF situation happens and you really need to, get some quick cash for groceries, housing, whatever that may be. You want the money to be able to do that, and having those goals can help you achieve that and, get that done, because then you're always making sure you have money to go towards the goal and stuff. Giving in an SHTF situation, you're more likely gonna, give up your silver than your gold, but still, the premise follows. If you're out of everything, you're gonna have to use gold, because you really don't have another option. You don't have the fiat currency or whatever like that. So, find goals, push yourself towards them, and really attack it. So now that my 4 tips are done for you guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. So, enter that silver giveaway once we hit 1,000 subscribers. But also to keep getting tips, keep getting new information on the silver market and how everything is doing. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys again in the future.